this thing is actually questionably good, meaning that it's like, wow, is this actually good for me? Because it tastes that good. She said, I feel like I'm cheating. Are you sure this is really gonna work? This was all through the holidays of Thanksgiving and Christmas. And no, she did not give up chocolate, which is her favorite thing in the world. She didn't dread her meals. She actually looked forward to them. Nothing feels forced. You're eating the foods that actually make you feel good physically and emotionally. You're staying consistent because the plan feels like it's your lifestyle, not a punishment. So here's the thing, my wife didn't want to diet, she didn't want to work out, and she definitely did not want to hate her life just to lose weight. So we did something totally different, something built around the foods that she actually loves, and in just 8 weeks, she dropped 25 pounds with no workouts, no restrictions, and she loved every single bite. Hey, I'm Trevor Buccieri, and I've helped nearly 30,000 patients lose almost 600,000 pounds and over 133,000 inches from their midsections alone. And while I've seen it all, this story is different because this one is personal. And most people actually think that the only way to transform your body is to actually eat like a rabbit or spend hours in the gym. But the truth is that most people don't need more workouts. They need a plan that they actually enjoy, one they can stick to, and one that fits real life, because that's when fat loss actually finally clicks in the short term, and most importantly, in the long term. And today what I'm gonna do is actually walk you through exactly how my wife dropped 25 pounds without ever stepping foot in the gym using our 15 and 30 taste-centered nutrition plan, and how you can actually use the same strategies that she did to finally hit your dream body goals without starving and without struggling to stick with it and without actually having to step in the gym. And here's what we're gonna be unpacking today. Number one, why she wanted something different this time. Number two, how taste-centered nutrition actually made it easy and delicious for her. Number three, I'm gonna share with you her results, even though she was already very, very close to her goal, which is what many people might say here. Number four, what maintenance actually looks like for her now that she actually hit her dream body. And number five, how you can start using the 15 and 30 plan for yourself today. So let's jump into number one here, why she actually wanted something different this time. And this is gonna be talking about the diet fatigue, the burnout, and actually what finally clicked for her. So my wife had always been in my corner. She supported every program that I've ever created, that I've ever tested, that I've ever tried, that I've ever built, and actually launched throughout the years. And you know, she was a huge supporter, and she would actually try them. And I'll tell you this, hon, if you're watching this right now, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, and I love you all there is. So from gym-based plans to low carb to vegan, she had really done it all. And while she actually saw some great short-term results and had great short-term wins, long-term, it just didn't stick for her. So she'd have great weeks, maybe great months, and then the decline that we all know would start. So that burnout would come into play. And eventually frustration and revolt, which we all know, where we just drop what we're doing and we go back to our old ways. And it wasn't that she actually didn't want it bad enough, it was that she actually was using an approach that wasn't built for long-term lasting results. So fast forward to when this whole thing started. So after she had our fourth baby, this was about 6 months postpartum, she came to me and she said this. She said, you know what? I want to get in the best shape of my life, but I don't want to do what I've always done. I don't want it to be hard. I don't want to spend hours on it, and I'm not ready to work out yet. What do you have for me? And that was the moment I was super pumped, because I knew this was going to be a completely different experience for her, and I was genuinely excited for her to actually jump into our 15 and 30 program that I created here. So number two, how taste-centered nutrition made it easy and delicious for her. And here we're gonna be talking about why this was the first plan that she actually wanted to stick to. So here, instead of forcing her into a rigid meal plan, which is really the norm of what I used to do and what's been proven time and time again not to work long-term, we flipped the script by essentially doing the opposite and really just beginning with two simple questions that I asked her. I said, hon, What do you want to eat? And also what tastes good to you and actually makes you feel great afterwards. So number one, we actually started looking at our food lists here that we provide our patients, and she actually chose what she liked. And then we actually jumped into our Dream Body recipe vault, and she chose the different recipes that she liked here. And I'll tell you this, my wife loves breakfast food. So she chose a protein pancake for one of her meals. And by the way, I gotta say, this thing is actually questionably good, meaning that it's like, wow, is this actually good for me? Because it tastes that good, which is a huge point of the 15 and 30 taste-centered nutrition program here. Another thing, she loves smoothies. So she actually chose one of our custom protein shakes for one of her meals. And then she said something really powerful to me, which I've heard time and time again from our patients. She said, I actually want to be able to eat dinner with our 4 boys of whatever she's actually going to be making for them. So she found a ton of recipes that she said would totally fit, that she would just rotate between, which ended up working out perfect, other than the fact that she needed to make a massive amount because my boys would just devour the food. And then finally, we did our simple Dream Body math, and actually that gave her her nutrition targets that she wanted to hit, and then boom, she was off to the races here. So here's the big takeaway here. She didn't dread her meals. She actually looked forward to them. And that is the beauty of taste-centered nutrition, is because nothing feels forced. You're eating the foods that actually make you feel good physically and emotionally. You're staying consistent because the plan feels like it's your lifestyle, not a punishment. So she was eating meals that she was so satisfied with. And she actually said to me this, she said, which was a huge compliment. She said, I feel like I'm cheating. Are you sure this is really gonna work? And that made me so thrilled, because that is the point. We're so used to restriction. We're so used to taking everything away. We're so used to suffering, and it needs to be different so we can actually enjoy the process and expect to keep our results long term. And the reason that she said, hey, is this actually going to work, is because, well, it didn't feel like a diet, and that is exactly why it worked. So number 3, let's talk about her results, even though she was already very close to her goals, and why that last 10 to 20 pounds doesn't have to be the hardest. This is where most people think that fat loss gets harder. So we're talking about that last 10 to 20 pounds that people want to lose. And the general belief is that's impossible, all right? Or it takes so much longer, or it's so much harder. And yes, there are, definite facts to the fact where if someone has 100 pounds to lose and they're looking to lose 25 pounds compared to if someone say only has 25 pounds to lose and they're looking to lose that 25 pounds, will the person who has 100, will they lose it faster? Yeah, generally in the beginning they will, just because of the fact that there is bloating, water retention, and things like that, which tend to dissipate quickly in the beginning, but then you plane out and it's essentially the exact same journey. So people would look at her and they'd say, you know what, oh, you don't have anything to lose, right? You don't have anything to lose. You look great the way you are. And 100% she did. But here's the thing, her results were based on what her vision of what she deemed as her dream body. And it was rooted with how she felt and how she wanted to feel. Her confidence felt off, her energy felt low, and she wanted to actually make that shift. So where she started at 146 pounds, really already a very, very healthy weight by most standards, really. But her goal was very clear. She wanted to be 120 pounds or below, and that's actually what felt right to her. So here's the results. Drum roll, please, right? In just 8 weeks, here's what happened. So week 2, she was down 8 pounds. Week 4, she was down 16 pounds. Week 6, she was down 20 pounds. And week 8, she was down 25 pounds. And she went from a size 7-8 in her pants to a size 0-1. Her energy was up. Her mood was better. Her confidence was absolutely through the roof. And yes, this was all through the holidays of Thanksgiving and Christmas. And no, she did not give up chocolate, which is her favorite thing in the world. She didn't give it up in the meantime. Why? Because we didn't restrict her. We actually customized this program around exactly what she loves. And what happened? She got the results she wanted without the stress, because the strategy was built for her life. That is a huge takeaway right there. So number 4, let's talk about what maintenance actually looks like for her now that she's actually hit her dream body. So we're gonna talk about what she's doing now and why it's never felt this effortless. Once my wife hit her goal, she looked at me and she said this, you know what? I love what I'm eating here. I don't wanna stop. I don't wanna go back to my old ways. I don't wanna change things up here. So what do I do? And I'll tell you what, that right there is the true difference between temporary results and true lifestyle transformation. So we made one simple shift. A, she ate the same foods, that's not a shift. She followed the same structure, that's not a shift. Here it is right here, she just ate more. That's right, she just ate more. Now, not because she was actually off the plan now, but because she was no longer trying to lose more weight. Now she was actually focused on maintaining all the progress she has already created, all the progress that she has built. And now her new challenge wasn't, how do I lose weight? It was more, how do I not lose more weight? And absolutely, that is a problem that most of us would be completely happy to have, right? And the beauty here is that her plan actually didn't end at her goal. It evolved with her. Because generally what happens is we actually go through very restrictive protocols and we essentially hit our breaking point, and then we tend to actually go back to what we've always done, pretty much in revolt at that point, because we're so burned out, we've been so deprived and so restricted, we just say, hey, you know what, forget it, I'm going back to what I've always known, and we end up gaining back what we actually had already lost, and in many cases, and then some. And that's because typically there is never a plan for after the original plan. And the difference here is that this program actually evolves with you. And that was game changing for her. And exactly what she said was, honestly, I feel relieved because I don't feel stressed that I have to actually change something. I already know this, it's working for me well, and all I have to do is eat more. That sounds like a dream come true. All right, so number 5 here, how the 15 and 30 Taste-Centered Nutrition Plan works and how you can start using it today. We're gonna talk about our simple dream body math and the foods that you love, because when you combine those together, that equals sustainable long-term fat loss. So let me show you exactly what we did here so you can actually use this for yourself starting right now. So step number 1 is your dream body weight times 10 equals your daily calories. So let me actually explain here. So for example, if your dream body weight is 150 pounds, we're just going to be going 150 times 10, and that equals 1,500 calories per day. That is your daily caloric need, all right, to get to your dream body. So we're doing this very, very different. We're starting with the goal in mind, and we build the program around that. Step number 2 is your dream body weight equals your daily protein in grams. So again, we talked about the dream body weight in this example was 150 pounds for the dream body goal weight. That is going to equal 150 grams of protein per day. And here we can use lean protein sources like chicken, fish, eggs, turkey, lean beef, protein powder, etc. Okay? Now, step number 3 is fill the rest of your calories with fruits and the carbs of your choice. So once proteins are actually accounted for, you also actually have your fats taken care of too, because these naturally occur inside the proteins since most of them are actually animal products. So for example, lean beef, eggs, they have fat right inside of them. So does chicken as well. All right, so the fat actually sits right inside of these foods. Then for your remaining calories, you're going to be using whole fruits and then other carbohydrates of your choice. And I did say that correctly, and you did hear me correctly. Yes, carbohydrates of your choice to actually hit the remaining calories. All right, so this is actually what this looks like. So for example, if we took your 150 grams of protein that you chose, and it was a combination of, say, of beef, chicken, fish, protein powder, or whatever it may be, and we put it into a food calculator like Chronometer or MyFitnessPal, we get a total number of calories from that. And let's just say for simple math, that's 1,000 calories. So since the number we're actually speaking about here for the dream body is 150 pounds, that equals 1,500 calories total. So now that means that you have an extra 500 calories that you can utilize for your carbohydrates in the form of fruit and or your carbohydrates of choice. So that's actually how we comprise of the 1,500 calories. 1,000 of it came from the proteins, which also have the fat built in, and then the remaining 500 calories we make up with fruit and your carbohydrates of choice. And it's as simple as that. And also a quick side note here for the power of fruit, a couple huge facts on this. First things first, fruit won't make you fat. Let's dispel this myth. That is a myth, and we've proven that over and over again with tens of thousands of our patients here. Another thing, fruit satisfies cravings here. So it really sustains that craving feeling that we always have, like you want to gnaw your arm off, because it keeps your blood sugar balanced. Another thing with fruit is it helps actually balance hormone levels. And also fruit is actually insulin friendly, especially for those with insulin resistance. And what I mean by this is that fruit is the only carbohydrate that actually doesn't require insulin to transport sugars to the cell to be used as energy. Normally what happens is when we eat carbohydrates, the sugar from the carbohydrates goes into our bloodstream. And then our pancreas releases insulin, which goes into the bloodstream and attaches to the sugar molecules, and then it transports that sugar to the cells to be used as energy. Now, if you have insulin resistance, it means that this insulin can't do its job. It can't actually bring the sugar to the cells to be used as energy, and the sugar actually stays in your bloodstream, and you end up with high blood sugar, which we know as either prediabetes or diabetes itself. That's actually where it comes from right there. Now, fruit, on the other hand, is really considered a special snowflake in this condition because, again, it doesn't require insulin to transport the sugar to the cells, so the sugar is able to be utilized by the cells as energy without the need for insulin, and voila, it's like magic. Now, step number 4 is building your meals around foods that you love. So important here. So we provide our patients with food lists and a recipe vault. So if you don't have those, you're actually just looking online for, say, a list of lean proteins. And then you can easily look up recipes to actually match what you love. Super simple. And here is the rule here. If it tastes good and it fits into the actual standards of the plan, it stays. All right? If it doesn't taste good, it's got to go because you're not going to stick with it. Period. So this needs to go bye-bye, okay? That's really the whole core concept of taste-centered nutrition. Now, step number 5 is very important. Don't starve, don't stress, just stay consistent. So this plan works because it's built for real life. You can eat out, you can travel, you can enjoy the holidays, and you can live your life without restrictions because this system fits you and your life. And the beauty here is that, contrary to the norm, is that you don't actually need to force yourself to fit into it because it fits into you. And that's how my wife did it, that's how our patients do it, and that's how you can do it too. And there you have it. My wife didn't suffer, she didn't starve, and she didn't actually work out to actually lose that 25 pounds in just 8 weeks. She followed a taste-centered nutrition plan that she enjoyed, and that's exactly why it worked. Because when your foods taste good, they fit into your life, and it's built around where you want to go, not where you are. Fat loss becomes simple, it becomes sustainable for long term, and it becomes reality. So if this story opened your eyes to what's possible, please go ahead, hit follow or subscribe. I so appreciate that. And I break down real strategies like this every single week. And if you know someone who you feel is stuck and they need to hear this, please send it their way. You never know. This might just be that one thing that changes everything for them. Again, my name is Trevor Buccieri. Thank you so much for investing your time with me. I know it's your most valuable asset and I do not take it for granted. I appreciate you, and give your best to the rest of your day. Take care.